we had some commitments around the state, uh, and these are kind of going from the last 2 weeks. And Division One commits, we had 4 in the past couple weeks. Division Two, we had 3. Division Three, we had 4, and then junior college, we had 9. And just like my biggest takeaway that I wanted to mention is that Lakeland Junior College down there in Mattoon keeps getting state games kids, and they got another one in these past couple weeks. Matt Murphy from Mount Carmel committed there, and that is their 8th state games commit. So just big shout out to Lakeland. They keep getting those guys, and they're leading the way with schools committing kids from the state game. So that's awesome. And actually Jimmy Downs too. He recently decommitted from Northern Illinois and flipped to Lakeland. So another big commit there for Lakeland. So awesome stuff. But I mean, I don't know. Do you guys have anything? Like, I know there's a couple names in here. Like Colin Roche was a big winner for us in the past. Carter Lennington. Anything you guys
Well,
got?
yeah, both going junior college.
Yeah.
Colin Roche, I know he came to the unsigned senior, and I talked to him a little bit at the event. Just, hey, what do you have going? He was unsure of exactly what level he was gonna end up trying to commit to. He was open to anything, and he landed there at Harper. So good opportunity for him to keep his just recruiting open as he goes into the next level and knocks out his gen eds over there at Harper, and hopefully gets a chance to really compete and play a bunch over there. And then Carter Lennington, same deal. Both are catchers. Lennington's going to Lincoln Land, and I know he performed really well for us multiple times over the last calendar year. So 2 performers going junior college right now.
I'm excited to see Otero at Lewis because I played at Lewis. That's probably the first future gamer they've ever gotten. I would think, at least out of high school. He's staying close to home, goes to Romeoville, so should be a quick little 1-minute drive over to campus. And I would think he's got a chance to crack that lineup pretty early.
Yeah,
so
he's a well above average high school shortstop. He can run, he can handle the bat. I think it's a really good get for Lewis, and Lewis has had plenty of high level prospects come through there. We're looking at one of them right now in Peter Hammett, but a guy like Jake Caraba got an Equa Valley a few years back, ends up throwing really well at Lewis, and then he finds himself at Louisville. He was a guy that maybe if we had seen him a little sooner would have had a chance to be a future game type arm, because his senior year of high school, going into his senior year, I remember him at the top prospect games, or actually it was the top prospect showcase. Upper 80s arm with a really good breaking ball, really athletic, repeated tons of strikes. So I liked him. Lewis, they've had plenty of talent coming through there. So nice to see them getting a local guy. He's from Romeoville, Carlos Otero, keeping him home, and let's see what he can do there.
Yeah, and actually another thing too, just Jaden Fauski is one of our top 2025s in the class. He's number 2 right behind Cam Appenzeller. He committed to Louisiana State, which Drew, you've spoke on it quite a bit, that he's probably one of the better bats that you've ever seen come through the state, at least since you've been doing this, maybe longer. But that's awesome to see. Obviously, LSU is a big-time program. So I don't know if you guys want to touch on that at all, or...
No, you mentioned it, and I would agree with what you said. Like, he is one of the top bats I've seen since doing this bat. I started in 2015, and there's been plenty of good hitters that have come through. There's been plenty of high-level athletes in the Alec Thomases and the Dylan Heads of the world. When I think of bats that have really stood out to me since I've been doing this, like Matt McCormick was one of just the truest hitters I've ever seen. When you factor in the bat to ball skills, the whole field approach, the plate discipline, also the power, and Jaden Fauski has all of that as well. I rarely ever see him swing at a pitch out of the zone. I rarely ever see him swing at a pitch in the zone and swing and miss. He can use the whole field. He doesn't sell out for power. It is as polished and as advanced of a bat as I've seen. So, you mentioned LSU, like he had his pick of the litter on where he could go, and found a place down there in the SEC. And it'll be interesting to see what happens with him in the draft and NIL and how it all plays out. We talked to Coach Reynolds over at Tennessee, and just that's a huge thing that these schools are going to have to combat now moving forward. Is they're getting high-level players that are going to be getting plenty of interest in the draft. And how does an NIL offer to a player help maybe, affect his decision on, okay, I can maybe make the same money as a signing bonus, but go and play in the SEC, experience college for a little bit, and then hopefully when I'm done at LSU, I have a quicker path to the big leagues. That's the ultimate plan for some of these higher level talents. So it will be interesting to see what happens. We saw somebody out of Illinois just kind of choose that path, and I don't know what kind of NIL money he got at Kentucky, but Tyler Bell. Tyler Bell had a number that he wanted to sign for if he got drafted, and the organization that drafted him, this is all hearsay and stuff that I hear, but maybe didn't match his number, and Kentucky was maybe to, elevate an NIL or whatever it may be, and convinced him to go to Kentucky, and now Tyler Bell's on campus over there. So I do think those type of conversations and those debates and those decisions for these high school athletes is going to become more and more prevalent.
Yeah, and to look at more of these commitments that we've had every week or every couple weeks, we post the recruiting roundup every Friday morning, usually in the morning. So if you want to kind of look at more of those guys that committed these past couple weeks, go ahead and check out that article on our website.
That's
go
just
ahead
a
before
good call out because not everybody's going to be glued and locked into their X account all the time, seeing all these commits come through.
Yeah.
So if you ever feel like you missed, you want to know what's going on, like go to the website, go to the news section. You'll see that article. Hopefully we have it laid out under related content to where we have a specific code, and all of those articles throughout the fall can just be right there at your disposal, so you can see. If you're interested in that kind of stuff, go to the website, check it out. And just calling that out, Gav.
Yeah, and actually, that's kind of a good thing to mention too that I probably should have been more specific with. If you go to just like our Illinois website, prepbaseball.com/Illinois, and you look at our homepage alerts on the right side of your screen and you scroll down to the Bullpen podcast section, we actually have a homepage for the Bullpen, and on that we have all of our kind of more interesting articles that are in this off-season time that aren't so event specific. So the recruiting roundup, Hammett's been doing a lot of signing day stories. We had some, I think, Illinois prospects in the pros stories that we put in there. So all kinds of cool, maybe less event-specific content that is on that homepage. So be sure to check that out if you kind of want to have some more information on some of that other stuff that maybe we don't go fully deep in the weeds with here on the podcast.